measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
Well, Noah, there is no easy way out for the Kansas City Chiefs. The worst team in football comes back yesterday on NFL Network and proves that they are, once again, the worst team in football. Nothing has changed.
What was that? I mean, God, I'm just laughing right now. I just can't even believe what I'm seeing.
I'm so numb to it. It's like watching that game is just like watching, a bad dream unfold that you've had so many times already. And, this was a competitive game. I mean, this was a 10-3 game at halftime, a 10-6 game into the third quarter, and somehow the Chiefs find their way to another, horrible loss. 31-13 being the final, it was 31-6, and it was all but over, at the end of that third quarter. I mean,
another mop-up touchdown. We love those.
Oh, gosh, we are the masters of getting that done. Wow, I don't even know what to say. NFL Network, prime time on a Thursday night, short week, short turnaround. We all predicted this to happen. San Diego had been really bad. They had lost several games straight against teams with losing records, and then the Chiefs come in, and all is well at San Diego.
Yep, they're back on top. Everybody's loving San Diego. They're 4-4. They're looking to get back in this AFC West race and take the division.
Well, we're going to have Mikhael Ricks come on and join us again, ex-Chiefs, ex-Chargers tight end, come on and talk about this game with us. Also, John Losh going to be coming on later from the Chiefs side of things. So we're going to get these. I think our guests are probably going to agree with our sentiment here. I don't see how they couldn't. This was an all-around disaster again. This is the worst thing I've ever seen on a football field. This is worse to me. Statistically, it already bears out that so far this is worse than the 0-16 Lions season.
By the end of the year, this is going to be far worse than the 0-16 Lions season.
Still no lead.
Nope.
Still no opening drive touchdown.
I think the Lions had 29 turnovers that entire season. And what are we at? 22 now? 21, 22?
Well, we've had 10 turnovers in 2 matchups against the Chargers. More inexplicable things today. We had Dexter McCluster fumbling a punt. You had Castle sack fumble in an end zone. Another tip ball picked off. Just by Demario Williams, of all people. My goodness,
ex-Chief linebacker takes it to the house.
Gosh, I tell you what, guys. This is as bad as I've ever seen an organization. The fans, the players, the coaches have all quit. There's no doubt that we're going to ask Mikhael Ricks this because he's a former player. I want to ask him about players physically and mentally quitting as professional football players. Does this happen? We always talk about it. We're going to ask Mikhael Ricks because I think it does, and I think this team has absolutely checked out in every way.
Seems like they checked out maybe week 2 or 3. I mean, they just do not believe in what Romeo Crennel is trying to sell them, and it shows out there on the field.
I guess the only question out there now is we're going to continue breaking down these games. We're going to continue previewing these games because that's what we do, and we love bringing you guys that. But I guess the only real riveting question coming out of this is this the week Romeo Crennel is fired? The Chiefs don't play again until next Monday night at Pittsburgh.
Sunday night
at Pittsburgh. Another assured loss.
Oh, yeah.
Is Romeo in trouble throughout this 10-day?
Maybe we'd have a chance if we could fire Romeo this week and steal their offensive coordinator Todd Haley back.
I remember him.
Yes.
I believe Todd Haley is probably chomping at the bit, getting ready to get this team in there next Sunday night. And who knows what he has in store for the Chiefs, and it'll be a laughing stock, and we will come out on the losing end of that as well.
You could just have a monkey point at offensive plays on Todd Haley's play sheet, and I'm sure it'll work against his defense.
This is something, guys, I have never seen anything like this. This is as non-competitive and unbelievable as anything I've ever seen in sports. I have been watching this game since I was a child. I'm 28 years old. I've been following it since I can remember being able to walk, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I thought one of the worst things I'd ever seen was the Herm Edwards era. But at least they had an excuse. They were all young, inexperienced, had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because they were young, just coming out of college. But this team's supposed to be like laden with veterans and really have a lot of talent, and they just have quit and just no heart, no leadership, and are just a sinking ship.
And that comes to coaching, and we saw Brian Daboll melt down during the game on a play where I thought the Chiefs should have went for it on a 4th and short in San Diego territory. They opted for the field goal, and Brian Daboll just melted down. It looked like he was probably yelling at Romeo Crennel, like, what in the world are we doing? Like, we're a horrible 1-6. We have a 4th and short. We got to go for it. When you don't do that, it shows you have no faith in your team, no faith in your players, and Daboll has been a problem all year anyway. But
yeah, maybe Romeo was saying, I have no faith in my offensive coordinator, so I'm going to kick the 3.
There you go. And so it looks like nobody has really faith in anyone right now. Which
Interesting dynamic.
This is a lonely place to be. I hate this. Like, when it's a Thursday night football game and you're playing on national TV on NFL Network, it should be exciting. It should be fun. Noah, we watched this game together. We sat there talking about Halloween and talking about other things and looking away.
I felt dead inside.
Eating
Absolutely
candy,
dead.
talking about work, which is horrible. No one wants to do that.
No.
We're eating candy and eating leftover candy from Halloween, and just we look up and it's just so numbing at this point. Like, nothing makes any difference to me. Like, I look at it and it's nothing. I feel no emotion.
I wonder how big the hole has been dug. I mean, how long is it going to take us to dig out of this and get the mindset changed and get better players in here, get leaders in here, and get on these players and get them to start believing in an organization and a philosophy again.
That's the good thing about the NFL. It is the easiest league to get things turned around in, and I think the easiest way to turn things around, and you guys need to get on board with me on this, you need to understand that in order to build a future, you have to tank a season. By that I mean you have to have a season where you have access to one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. The Chiefs are on their way to doing that, and you guys need to get on board. When you're talking about us being bad fans or us being, negative, and you have to understand that right now we are, for the better good of this team, you need to keep this happening. You have to lose games. You have to make this 1-15, 2-14, 3 or 4 wins, guys. I promise you, is only a detriment going forward. I promise you that.
Yes, I mean, what if the Colts got rid of Peyton Manning and they had won 6 or 7 games,
right,
and they didn't get an Andrew Luck or an RG3? I mean, where would they be? They are looking up for the future. I mean, next 10, 12, 15 years, they're going to be a really great team with that stud quarterback.
And that's what we're going to have to look towards. I mean, the names are going to pop up. You hear Geno Smith, you're going to hear Matt Barkley, and we're going to talk more about that as the season progresses, because it's going to have to probably be one of those guys. It's just going to have to be.
Just going back to last year a second, I mean, we go 7-9, and we get Dontari Poe. What if we had tanked the season and gotten Andrew Luck or RG3? Yeah. Holy cow, things could be different.
That's why
we get Dontari Poe, and defensive tackles, nose tackles just don't make that big a difference.
That's why right now I need to call out all Chiefs fans to get on board with this. I know you're upset, I know you're angry, I know you hate losing, and I do too. No one hates losing more than me. I've never seemed to grow out of that phase of being a kid and throwing things and throwing tantrums. But guys, when you come to us and you say things like, let's get a win, go Chiefs, get the touchdown, I understand your passion. I know you love this team, and I love this team too. But in order for this to turn around, in order for this thing to be blown up, first of all, these horrible losses, these coaches, this administration cannot make it through this. That's for one. That's going to help you right there.
The remaining eight games for this season, if those are losses, that is for the betterment of this team. Understand
that, and try to get on board with it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to root for losses. And when the Chiefs are playing last night against San Diego, I'm not sitting there cheering for San Diego, go Chargers. You're cheering for your team. But when the game's over and you've had another horrible loss, you need to be able to look at this and say, okay, this is for the better good, because this administration, this coaching staff cannot survive this. And you're going to put yourself in a position to get one of those quarterbacks. That's it. You
got to have a franchise guy leading you, unless you have a top 10 defense of all time, and we obviously do not have that.
Well, guys, this was horrible, beyond reproach. Let's see what our buddy Mikhael Ricks thinks, because I know he's going to have some opinions on this game, guys. And we are continuing to break down this NFL Network game from yesterday. We got Mikhael Ricks back on the line. Of course, he joined us for a pregame show. Michael, once again, Kansas City comes into this game as pretty much a non-factor. Phillip Rivers had a wonderful game. San Diego's game plan seemed to be good. Their defense really stepped up today.
Right. They, Kansas City, with the four turnovers, they tried to convert those into points, and I think both teams pretty much had a nice running game. But when you turn the ball over like that, don't convert when Phillip Rivers gets turnovers and missed field goals and things like that, it's kind of hard to bounce back.
What do you see with this team and all the turnovers? I mean, how is this possible that every single game they seem to have at least 2 turnovers?
Well, I mean, I think that's just like a discipline thing. I think that goes to the coaches with just going back to fundamentals, and then with Kansas City is pretty much injury plagued and things like that. So you have these people coming in that probably don't get as many snaps as they're used to getting. Probably non-contact, in practice, but once they get in the games, it's the fumbling. But they need to go back to the fundamentals and try to, leave that.
As this season keeps getting worse for Kansas City, now dropping to 1-7, as a player, these guys are pros. You were a former pro. You guys all have pride out there. But at some point, mentally, do you think it's possible for a group of players or a team to just kind of quit? Is that what's going on here?
I mean, I think so. You can kind of, I guess, with Miami last year when they were going through that bad drought, and they kept talking about that suck for luck, campaign and things like that, like throwing a game so that they can get the number 1 pick, or just hanging it up, because the way with the mentality of a lot of those athletes, if things just keep steamrolling the way they are, if you don't have a leader in that locker room, it's kind of hard to get everybody on the same page and try to turn the season around. But I mean, for me as a player, it's something that you never want to see a team go through. So unless they have somebody that's a verbal leader, to step in and try to rally the troops and get them going. I mean, I think KC would be lucky to probably win another 2 games.
Oh yeah, I mean, Phillip Rivers has really struggled this year. Even going back to last year, he struggled, and he comes in here with his top 2 out of 3 receivers are out with Eddie Royal and Robert Meacham, and they pick up Sehi Ajiri-Tutu and Denario Alexander, and he starts off the game 12 for 12. I mean, what is going on with this Chiefs secondary?
I don't know. I believe one of the cornerbacks. I think Kansas City was out, but you get the 3rd or 4th string, cornerback to come in and try to, to cover. Sometimes they end up, overthinking things and things like that. But I know the thing with San Diego is like they can start off the way that they did, and then, around November, it always starts in November is when they start getting on that winning streak. So, it's the first today, and I think it's the route that San Diego's going right now.
Do you see that coming again from San Diego this year? We've seen, I mean, they had lost a few games in a row, and Kansas City seems to be the team to get people feeling good about themselves and get them healthy. So Phillip Rivers has a nice game today. Do you think San Diego is maybe ready to turn their corner? They're only a half game out of first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I know they have a pretty tough upcoming schedule, and then they can get these the injured guys that they have back. I think they'll be okay. But yeah, I mean the game was pretty close at the beginning, but then like you were saying, the turnovers coming in, and then it seemed like that Kansas City just took the foot off the gas and was just content with just the turnovers and the linemen not blocking, keeping the castle in dire straits, trying to get rid of the ball. But when things start going like that, it's kind of hard to bounce back from.
How bad are things in Kansas City? I mean, the quarterback situation with Matt Castle and Brady Quinn, and then Romeo Crennel just seems to be in over his head.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think he's pretty much lost the players, and then those. I feel bad for those fans because I believe outside of probably Green Bay, Kansas City has the best fans there. And then when you go and think about what they did for what they did or didn't do for free agency, to bring the right players in to help the Chiefs win, it's just kind of hard to fathom why the Chiefs record is the way it is.
Well, going forward here, I mean, as San Diego gets back to 500 and the season now being half over, do you see San Diego as a team that's going to compete with Denver for this AFC West Championship, or do you think this may be been a one-time thing for the Chargers?
I think that from what Phillip Rivers was alluding to earlier about how everybody's rallying around North Turner, I think they'll continue to do that, and San Diego has to play the Raiders again, and then they have to play the next game against Denver. I know they're not going to allow, that, at 24 to nothing deficit going to halftime and then lose the game 35-24. But I think that they'll, ride their defense because the defense played really well and I think they'll play, field position games with Denver or, whoever they play with, and then, just try to, probably have a 9-7 record or something like that, like the Giants did, and just a division and try to steamroll through the playoffs.
What do you think the Chiefs need to do to fix this? I mean, do you think this team is that far off, or do you think maybe just a quarterback and a few players here and there they can get this thing turned around?
I mean, cut down on the turnovers, for one. I guess the secondary to get a little more pressure on the, on the quarterback. It seemed like the D-line was, really, was basically giving Phillip Rivers all the times he wanted, to find the receivers down the field, and just tackling a little bit better.
Well, it's going to be really interesting going forward because I think this was a game that the Chargers needed. They got this win, and we'll see, Michael, because I think maybe this fan base, which seemed a little restless. I don't know if you noticed during the broadcast. A lot of booing. Phillip Rivers made a really bad throw before halftime that was picked off by Eric Berry, which is about the only sign of life we saw out of Kansas City. I mean, do you think the fans were getting restless there in San Diego? I mean, I did definitely hear some booing at times for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean that's the way they are. Honestly, if they know that they're a better team than they should be, then they're playing right now, then the fans will let you have it. But you'll hear the Russells and everything in San Diego with get rid of North Turner, get rid of Phillip Rivers, bring somebody else in. And it's like we talked about earlier. San Diego has a lot of those there with the fans. But those same boos are turning to cheers. They start winning, and then you hear fans saying, I was with them all the time. I knew they pulled this out and things like that, but. I guess it's just a standing, that fan base just won the championship. It's been a long time since they've been in the playoffs, and they're gonna let them hear it, until they turn things around.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, I'll tell you what, your insight has been wonderful this week. We appreciate you joining us. We're gonna definitely keep in touch as the season goes on, and we'll see what happens, man. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and you have a good one. And you try to get to bed, man. It's kind of late out there on the East Coast.
I will. Thanks for having me. I'm going to go knock out right now.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, thank you.
And thanks again to Mikhael Ricks for joining us. Second time in the week he's joined us, and I'll tell you what, he had to stay up late for this to watch this horrible game, and he's on the East Coast. He's down in Florida, so my gosh, he had to stay up late to talk to us. And I
know,
man.
I'm surprised he wasn't snoring on the couch when we woke him up there.
I would have been, man. I'll tell you what, staying up late last night to watch that game, wow. So as we transition from that, we're going to have a really good guy, really good host, John Losh, coming up. Losh Man Sports Radio.
107.9 FM, The Fountain.
We're going to go ahead and bring him on, talk about this Chiefs team and how bad it's getting. Okay, we are back here on the Outsiders Podcast, continuing to break down this Chiefs-Chargers game, joined on the line by John Losh. You can catch him, Losh Man Sports Radio, 107.9 FM, The Fountain. Was that a good radio voice there, John? Did I do that right?
Oh, yeah, there you go. I think you almost sounded like me there, brother.
Well, I think you could definitely agree with this, probably on most of our thoughts on this game. John, as you look at this, I mean, did it feel to you just like it did to us, like you're just watching a nightmare that keeps unfolding one after the other?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, these guys aren't even trying. Again, we're not even doing anything until we're relying on Ryan Suckup field goals. Finally we get another garbage touchdown there in the fourth quarter. It's like, why are we even trying? Oh, so we can say that they haven't outscored us by as many points.
Exactly.
Qualcomm, I think the total is like 125 to 44 now that the Chargers have outscored us there. We came in 30th in NFL scoring. We were last place in the NFL, last place in the NFC West. The last time a team hadn't led in a game into their sixth game like that was 1942, and again we haven't led in a game. I mean, there's 4 turnovers again tonight. We came in with the most turnovers in the NFL. I mean, what is it going to take to make change here? I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny during the broadcast they're talking about Chargers GMs and coaches all under fire and all getting fired. They're 3-4, now 4-4, and we're sitting here with now a 1-7, and they didn't even really bring up possibilities of people being fired. I mean, John, as we sit here now at 1-7, we have 10 days off until the Sunday night game, at Pittsburgh. Do you think that Romeo could go during this break? I mean, it might just need to start right now.
He should go, but do I think he's going to? No. because this team has consistently shown that it doesn't care about making change. I mean, okay, we brought Brady Quinn in. Okay, but then he played one series and you put Matt Castle back in. You know, Pioli's not gone. You know, Cornell's not gone. If Pioli wants to stay, he needs to get rid of Cornell. I mean, Cornell was good as a coordinator, but he just doesn't have it as a head coach. You know, I made the mistake, you know, early on thinking that, you know, the way the team responded to him, that he could do something with his team. I was wrong. You know, not to mention the fact that we already learned from the Todd Haley experiment, wearing more than one hat here in Kansas City doesn't work, and he went into it trying to do that. You know, yeah, he's got to go. And I mean, and like I said, I already know what the locker room comments are going to be tonight. Well, we are who we are, back to work, and we'll get better. But when are we going to stop being who we are and stop saying we're going to go back to work and get better and just get better? That's what I want to know.
How big of a hole are we in? I mean, and how long is it going to take us to dig out of this?
You know, I have no idea. That is the question that is perplexing the universe, I'm sure, right now. You know, but I mean, something's got to change. I mean, and the worst part about this is, for me, is my partner Steven and I, you know, check out his site, by the way, www.chiefconcerns.com. He's not able to be with us tonight because he's on Air Force Reserve duty, and of course we always respect those in our military. You know, but, you know, the thing, we try to focus on the positive side of things. We try to look at the human side of things, the guys inside the uniform who are real people just like us, put their pants on every one leg at a time just like we do. Yes, they're being paid a lot of money. Yes, they should be performing better. But you finally get to a certain point where you just can't be positive anymore, and I think I'm just about to that point. I've been trying to work with a group that has been trying to get a banner going out to Arrowhead Stadium to be signed by fans to encourage the players. As a matter of fact, she called me tonight, wanted to know if I was available for an interview with Fox 4, and of course I was at work, so I wasn't able to. But, you know, about that banner, you know, so I've been trying to do the right thing, but, you know, there comes a point where you got to say enough is enough. And even my partner, who, you know, normally has been very positive, has been trying to show me the side of Scott Pioli, the man, and that because he has a relationship with Pioli and not just Pioli, the chief general manager, you know, was you know, calling me after the game, you know, on Sunday, saying, you know, I think I've had it. You know,
yeah,
I've
definitely.
never heard him be that negative before. You know.
So, I mean, what is it really going to take? Like, for quarterbacks, do we need to start losing and rooting for this team to get maybe a top 1-2 draft pick so we can get a quarterback in here and move towards a franchise?
I was hearing Matt Barkley's, you know, name called a lot today, and you know, but then, you know, I'm the one that everybody I think has kind of forgotten about that only gets mentioned here and there. You know, I don't want to see us lose, but if we're going to lose all these games, you know, I think they were calling it blow for Barkley this year. Well, I'm saying cave in for Klein. I want Colin Klein from K-State. That's my guy. So, you know,
to play tight end,
we get Barkley fine, but, you know.
Not Colin Klein to play quarterback, certainly. Correct? You're to play another position, or?
No, to play quarterback.
Ooh.
I mean, the guy's 7-0 right now.
Yeah, Kansas State's playing amazing. I mean, I just think that you're looking at a different type of quarterback to come play in the NFL. Same kind of how Tim Tebow, not probably a starter in the NFL, but I respect your opinion on that. I like Colin Klein, an amazing college player. But, you know, there are a lot of names thrown out there, and we don't know right now. We'll see where we wind up. We don't know where we're going to be picking. That's way down the road. But, John, like, you know, tell us right now, I mean, if you're going into another year next year and changes aren't made, Scott Pioli is back. Is there any way? How does the fan base? And you're a positive fan. You talked about creating a banner supporting these players. How does the fan base accept that if we're back next year with Pioli, Castle, and this whole thing over again?
You know what? I really don't think the fan base should, and I don't know what it's going to take to make the Chiefs management understand that change is necessary. You know, and you know, it's I don't, you know, now we can't accept it. You know, change has got to happen, and we're already starting to make a statement. I mean, when I was at the game sitting in the press box on Sunday, the stadium was half empty. So we're already seeing it, you know, already showing it with a lack of numbers. You know, there's people with the Save Our Chiefs movement that are planning on wearing black to the stadium, and the stadium will probably be even less empty, you know, less full as it was last Sunday when they were back home to play the Cincinnati Bengals. So you're going to have less people there. You're going to have the people that are going to be there dressed in black. And I mean, tonight was another night, just like Sunday. I can't tell you how many times myself and my colleagues sitting in the press box on Sunday had our collective faces buried in our hands, and how many 3 or 4 word catchphrases we went through. Oh, I can't believe this. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, that's horrible. And, oh, are you serious? I mean, it was just one after another, and it was the exact same way tonight. Did I expect better? Probably not. But did I hope for better? Absolutely. I really hoped we could turn it around tonight. But, going into it, numbers-wise, I'm a real, numbers don't lie guy. And numbers-wise, I didn't expect it. And we came just, a few points short of, meeting our usual average, final at the end of the game tonight of 38-7. It was, 31-13. So, I mean, this team's just not getting better, and I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, at first I liked what I saw. Jamal Charles, Dexter McCluster, Dwayne Bowe, Sean Drone, Steve Breston, all these guys were all getting, of course, Steve Breston and Sean Drone not so much until the last part of the game, but McCluster and Charles and Bowe and all those guys, getting plenty of action in the first part of the game. I thought we were spreading the ball out nice to all those guys. Charles went over 600 yards for the season tonight. Once again, I thought we could do something, but once again, even when we got turnovers from San Diego, we couldn't capitalize on them. Whereas they got turnovers from us, they capitalized. The Raiders got turnovers from us on Sunday. They capitalized. We intercepted their first pass of the game back on Sunday. Didn't capitalize on it. And so every time it looks like we've got something going, we can't do it. We can't finish. And they say it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And this team just can't finish. It's that simple. So I really don't know what it's going to take. Like I said, I know there are already things in the process. Less fans showing up, people planning to wear black. There's banners being flown over the stadium. I think if the parking lot starts being a lot less, full with a lot less people out there tailgating, and it becomes very subdued, very stoic out there in the parking lot, I think the message might, finally start to get across. If people aren't buying season tickets next year, maybe the message finally starts to get across. I don't know what it's going to take, but it's got to happen because the fans in this city deserve better. Somebody said here recently, maybe the organizations running the Missouri Mavericks and Sporting KC need to take over the Royals and the Chiefs. So maybe they'll win more. And at least, I heard an interview with Dayton Moore today, and at least, they're showing that, they've only brought in one guy, so I'm not going to throw a ticker tape parade and shout hip hooray yet. But, they went out and got a halfway decent pitcher today, and if they continue to go out and get more guys, at least they're showing, hey, we're trying to go out and get people. We should have already been, bringing guys in and starting to replace some people at different positions here, and we're not doing it. We're just sending the same tired, can't perform guys out there every week, and we're not doing anything about it. So, and there's an old saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And apparently the Chiefs want to always get what they've always got. So, I think if we get like a Matt Barkley in here for next year as a top, first-round draft pick, the question still remains is, though, will they really draft a quarterback in the first round? They haven't done it so far. And unfortunately, the stat was thrown out tonight that I tweeted earlier. It's been 25 years of Todd Blackledge since the Chiefs have had a drafted quarterback that won a game for them. So, we still got to figure out what it's going to take to change that. So, I don't know. But, we're trying to say, we're trying to say it. We're trying to make change. When it's going to happen, who knows?
Is it time to see Ricky Stanzi in there and say, hey, Scott Pioli, this is the one quarterback that you've drafted since you've been here, so let's go. Let's see him.
I would be okay with at least giving the kid a shot. Now, I was out there at practice a couple of weeks ago, and he couldn't hit anybody. Ryan Sutup was being a volunteer target and stood still. He wasn't even running routes, and Stanzi couldn't hit him. But you know what? We haven't given the kid a shot this season. Let's send him out there and see what he can do. You never know. He might actually get out there in a pressure situation like that and actually perform well. So, yeah, I would be okay with sending him out there. He's sitting on the bench. We haven't seen what he can do so far. So, yeah, send him out there. Let's see what he can do. We don't draft people for him just to sit on the bench. So, let's send him out there and at least say, hey, we gave it the old college try.
Is it time to really clean house? I mean, maybe the entire coaching staff, general manager, everybody, and just start over, just completely clean house and start over?
I would say yes. It's time to clean house. It's time to start from scratch and just bring some fresh minds, fresh ideas in here, and just see what can happen.
Yeah, we're going to see going forward. I'll tell you what, John, your insight is wonderful. You are mirror images of us. I'll tell you that. We have the same passion as you guys do. We appreciate what you guys do. John, before we let you go, you got to give us all your info where our listeners can find you and how they can listen to you, my man.
Okay. It's 107.9 FM, The Fountain, Saturdays 2 to 3 p.m. Website is www.fountainradio.com. You can get it online. If you want to listen to previous broadcasts, www.loshmanradio.podomatic.com. My blog site is www.loshmansports.wordpress.com. Once again, Steven's site, www.chiefconcerns.com. And so that's where you can find us. And we're looking forward to continuing to do quality shows and build relationships with the public, and as well as the different sports organizations in Kansas City, and keep people informed of what's going on. We are a faith-based show, so we are about faith first, sports second. So we're all about the guys that are very outspoken about their faith, and we try to get them on the show. We're talking a lot about them. It's a family-friendly show. So, no matter, all the commercials, the shows, everything, you won't hear any language, you won't hear any alcohol products or anything being advertised. Fountain Radio is the ministry of Calvary Chapel, www.calvarychapelkc.com. And we appreciate the great opportunity that they've given us to come and be a part of their radio network. So we're looking forward to hopefully doing that for many years to come.
Oh, John, that's great stuff. We'll definitely be listening. God bless you guys, and we appreciate everything that you've done. I appreciate you being on tonight, and we'll catch up with you guys again as the season goes on the road, my man.
All right, great, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it a lot, man. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
All right, great stuff from John Losh. Thanks for joining us. Man, I tell you what, you could tell all of the people involved with the Kansas City Chiefs right now are just very, very upset. We all are wanting change, and we're going to see if it happens. This will be interesting. I'll tell you what, you want some drama, you want something compelling out of this season, you wait and see how the rest of this thing plays out, because you can see heads rolling, and I think you will. So we'll see.
I think people are concentrating on the big fish, as they should, with Scott Pioli, Romeo Crennel, Brian Daboll, Matt Castle. But I think just clean the entire place out. Secretaries, interns, all kinds of coaches. My roommate
Chad Tubbs has got to go?
Yes, he's got to go. He's a problem, not a solution.
So, yeah, I think it's interesting. You're talking about
water boys, gone.
Everybody. Parking attendants, you are not getting me into Lot C quick enough. It's over.
Yes, parking attendants gone. War paint gone. Casey Wolf gone. Implode the stadium, move it to Overland Park or someplace. I don't care. Just
new logos, new colors.
Yes, everything new.
Oh my gosh, it might be time for that. I tell you what, we're gonna see as things progress. We're gonna be joining you next week, talking about Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up on Sunday Night Football. Another nationally televised game. Todd Haley right now is licking his chops, Noah, right now, thinking about this game.
Oh, yeah. Just pick a play at random, and it is going to work greatly, get you a touchdown, and the Chiefs will give you the ball whenever you want, and everything will work out just fine.
Thanks for joining us in the Outsiders podcast. Enjoy this soft musical interlude as we head out tonight. Good night.